Good morning, Guyana. What's up? Welcome down to our Tuesday installment of Fun, Fit, and Healthy, where we advance health and fitness related conversations. As always, yours truly, Coel, resident trainer here at TBN. And we have a real treat for you guys today. We have the Guyanese Massimo in the studio. My good friend, a very good friend, Mr. Sion Satrahan. He's graced us with his presence today. We're going to be advancing us in the conversation about health and fitness related matters, of course, and the role it played in his life, and the things he's been experiencing as a person that is actively participates in health and fitness in Guyana, and actually has a brand associated around health and fitness in Guyana, a huge platform. So, Sion, why don't you yourself to people, talk to people, tell the people what's up with you?
Good morning, everybody. Well, everybody know me as Sion Satrahan, aka Guyana Massimo. Something started as a little kicks on social media, and it actually ended up been doing very well for me. I really like bodybuilding. I've been into bodybuilding my whole entire life. I run the Bodybuilding in Guyana Facebook page. I was the former vice president for the Guyana Bodybuilding and Fitness Federation a few years ago. I also partake in a lot of bodybuilding stuff. I also have a gym in Atlantic Gardens that I've been training people for free. That I really believe in health and fitness. I think it's a very good thing, and it really does help with you as an individual for building that self-esteem and motivation, and it gets you in life also. Everything you do in life, you see things differently. Mm-hmm. When you have that ego driving you, you just want to keep doing better in life every single day.
Great. Appreciate that intro, Sion. But first, what I want you to tell this viewers a bit more about is how you actually got started in body, because you're a friend, and I know your origin story in it is pretty decent. So let's tell the people exactly what kind of catapulted you into the health and fitness.
I was a really fat kid. I was severely obese. I was really fat, like 200 pounds, 10, 11 years old. I was picked on in school. My brothers used to bully me. I had a nickname. They used to call me Cow in Farm 1.
Cow?
Yeah, Cow.
Can't imagine it, no. Don't call it Cow now, for sure.
A lot of people used to bully me, kids. I remember I had an incident, and there was a young lady that I liked in school, it's high school crush, you get a little like. And it was a very slim girl, and I remember this particular incident, and I walked up to her, and I called her, I was like, hey, I think you're a very pretty person. And she looked at me and she pointed me out in front of everybody. She like, look, this fat boy hustling me. Look, this fat boy hustling me.
Oh, sure.
And the whole class started laughing.
Oh, my guy.
And I cried that day. I went home and,
Real men cry.
Of course. There's nothing wrong with that.
It's cool.
We all cry.
Yeah, so.
And I went home and I spoke to my dad. And I told him, and I was like, Dad, I really think I want to start exercising now. And my dad right away, he was like, you sure? I was like, yes. And the very next day, it all started.
Very
next day.
Shout out to Big Papa. But it's good. So guys, everybody has something that motivates them into health and fitness. Sion, he suffered some severe issues with self-esteem. And we always talk on the show, we talk about making yourself a priority. And at a very tender age, he decided to, you know what? I don't want to look like this. He was, 14, I think it was? How old were you?
13, 14,
young, he was a kid, more or less. And at that age, he had the presence of mind. Granted, a little bit of motivation with the birds, right? But he was, at that age, had the presence of mind that he needed to make himself a priority, needed to make changes in his life. And he reached out to...
Oh, by the way, that very same girl became my prom date.
You see that? Tangible evidence that if you do what you gotta do, and you get in shape and you do what you gotta do, you'll be fine, all right? But again, at 13, 14 years old, having the presence of mind to make changes and make the decision to stick to a plan, and then you see the transformation. It's really not rocket science, right? It's really simple. About consistency. It's really, and he could tell you a little bit more about that. Like, it's all about consistency. And what I want to talk about now, it would be, what were some of your challenges? I mean, you were a 13, 14-year-old boy. I mean, obviously, starting out, you don't have a lot of knowledge. What did you specifically do that kind of helped you?
What you gotta understand, when it comes to health and fitness, we all like food, we all like chocolate. I like chocolate. If you ask me, if I want to eat a bowl of salad or a chicken breast or a plate of chocolate ice cream cake, obviously I want to eat the ice cream cake.
Right.
But when it comes to health and fitness, you got to make that decision. You got to understand that this is about your health, right? It's a greater good, basically. You're doing this for a reason.
Right.
And you got to always remember that reason. So what you got to do, you got to even like sometimes every month, you write this down on a piece of paper. Write down 10 reasons why you're doing this. And every time you're about to break and crack and say, no, I can't do this, you read this here. Keep it in your phone, screenshot it in your phone.
Right.
And you read it, and it'll hit you.
Right.
But what bodybuilding became for me, I had to make it part of a routine.
Right.
Every day, just know you have to do this, and you do this, and as you keep committing, after a while, it becomes your routine. So it's nothing you're stressing yourself over, saying, man, I got to do this, oh, why I got to do this,
Right.
It just becomes natural.
So for you, it became easier and easier as you did more consistently. And obviously, you start to see the results, start to see your body shape. No longer a cow now. You look like a goat now. Well, you worked and you saw what your work produced. And again, just want to remind the viewers that it is not rocket science. It's not an impossibility. Right? Because here you have a young boy doing what is necessary to get it done. Winning the girl at the end. Right? The same thing that motivated him, you got the reward at the end. So that's really, really...
And this was years ago. We didn't have social media back then. I could have just typed in these things.
Right.
I just read books, saw people, eating greens.
Right.
And it just was natural.
Right.
I didn't need nobody to tell me, hey, don't eat that chocolate. If you're going to eat a roti, eat one roti. Not just eating 3-4 roti till I want to overeat on my belly full.
Correct.
Yeah, it just came to me natural. This is what I know I have to do, and I do it.
Right. Well, there you go. So there's actual evidence from somebody that actually has been doing this for a while. That looks the way he looks. It's not easy. It's not easy, but it's very, very doable. And that's what I always want to encourage persons to do. So what I want to talk to you about now is what would you say were some of your challenges? Because again, everybody have issues in their life. What would you say, if you're comfortable sharing? What were some of your issues that kind of derailed you, and then when you were derailed, what kind of stuff helped you to come back on? Because this is something that's a reality for a lot of people that are viewing, that have harsh realities in their life that kind of hinder them. So
one of the hardest factors is work. Sometimes we got a really rough day at work, and it stresses us out mentally, and we don't want to go gym because we're just stressed out. We want to get into that comfort, relax zone. We go home, we buy something nice, and we watch TV, and we get into that comfort zone, and we don't want to step out of that comfort zone.
Right.
But a separation actually pulled me out of that comfort zone, where I allowed myself to get back that fat person that I was when I got comfortable in my relationship. I went back to almost 240 pounds of fat.
Right.
And I never liked how I looked, because after getting into health and fitness and you look a certain way,
right,
when you start see yourself getting back to become that person who you ran from, the cow. As you start getting back and becoming back that cow, you lose everything. You lose your self-esteem, you lose your motivation, your drive, everything I lost. And I got so comfortable in life too that I just didn't want to do nothing. I had no drive at all. And then there came the separation, and it threw me back in order. And I decided that it is time now I start taking care of myself, and not just take care of myself, but help everybody.
Right.
And that was when I decided now to start helping everyone. Everything I start doing, I start doing training, I start assisting people, paying their gym fee at Space Gym a piece of time. But what I found, that bodybuilding is on a different level from exercising,
right,
which a lot of people was not understanding. So when they got into the bodybuilding aspect and they felt the pain, they were like, I don't really know if I can do this. But the overall eating and exercising, everybody could have done it. It was way easier to do.
Right.
So we started in steps. Don't necessarily jump into the extreme immediately. Don't try to cut all your dieting overnight. I mean, this is one of the biggest aspects, and I'm glad we're doing this here, because I want to explain this to a lot of people.
Before you go, take a pin for a second, right?
Sure.
So I just want to clarify, just bring some clarity too. So something that derailed you was in your personal life. You had a lot of, your workload increased, and you had a lot of, you got comfortable more or less in your relationship.
Yes.
And then in your relationship, obviously things happen and then you separated. And then you use that negative situation to catapult you into health and fitness again.
But you see, I didn't want to go down the narrow road. I didn't want to go down the alcohol road.
Right. I'm saying, so that's a good point to note, guys, is that even though you have, I just want to batten down on in this particular part. And don't forget your train of thought, what you're talking about.
Yeah.
It is important to understand that in everybody's life you will have, regardless of your situation, regardless of whether you're economic, social standing, wherever you are, you will have difficulties that you will encounter, and these difficulties will help to either break you or make you. In Sion's case, he had some situations that were very, very, stressful and caused him to balloon back up to the cow. But
I should have never tell you what.
I never heard the cow part, but I'm glad I know. Right? But what he did, and what all of you out there that are watching can do is to turn a negative into positive. It is easier said than done, but it's definitely something that can be done. Right? So just want to batten on that point and make sure that the viewers are tying into that aspect of Sion's story where he turned the negative into a positive, and you can see the results from that. Right? But let me continue. I want to make a point about.
Let me help the whole entire everybody here. Right? This is going to help every single one of you here to understand what is it to eat healthy and get them into exercising. If you're normally eating 3,000 calories a day. Now, this is the biggest mistake everybody make, in my opinion. The very next day, you decide you want to eat healthy and exercise. So you move from eating 3,000, it might even be more, because sometimes, the average plate of unhealthy food is like 1,500 calories. And you eat 3 times a day, so you're looking at maybe 4,000 or 5,000 calories, some people have, but especially rice and roti. So you go from 4,000 calories into the very next day, you decide you want to eat healthy. So you cut from 4,000 calories to 2,000 calories. Then now additional to this 2,000 calories, you now want to exercise and burn maybe 500-600 calories from 2,000 calories. So at the end of the day, you're only consuming 1,400 calories against 4,000 calories.
It's harsh.
Yeah, it's really harsh. It's really hard. And that's where the mistake a lot of people make, and they call that a crash diet. So you're going to run for this momentum for 3 weeks. You have this problem here that you're going through, and you want to see changes. You want to become a better person, so you're taking care of your health. But it's a crash diet. And after 3 weeks, when your body can't take it anymore, and you lose that motivation that you had 3 weeks ago, you just drop it, and you drop the whole entire program.
Right, so that's an interesting point Sion made there about how your body works. So to his point, your body was accustomed to receiving X amount of calories for sustenance, and then you drastically reduce that caloric intake, and you try to maintain it for a few mornings. But how your body works, that drastic drop, your body hasn't, not enough time would have passed for your body to get accustomed to that reduction in the calories. So the moment you slip, like he said, the moment you slip and you revert back to your old eating habits, which typically is the case, it happens a lot.
You will.
Your body then balloons back up rapidly because it's trying to gain back the amount of calories that it was accustomed to receiving. So we talked about this many times in the show earlier when you started the show. It's important, and I'm glad you introduced that, where it's important that you have a planned approach towards your diet. First off, you need to be aware of how many calories your body needs to survive, and then you scale it and create what's commonly known as a caloric deficit or calorie deficit. Yeah. And typically it's typically just about 500 points. You don't necessarily need more than 500 points to create a healthy caloric deficit that's going to aid you for longevity, because you're not doing this, and like Sion said, it's a lifestyle. I said earlier in the conversation, it's a lifestyle adjustment, it's a lifestyle choice. So you're not just doing it to go fit in a dress, or you're not just doing it to impress some girl. Right? But I'm saying it's important that we understand that particular thing what you just said, what he hammered home there a few moments ago, which is the importance of understanding.
It was a girl, but then now it's girls.
It's girls. See, it's volume. Volume. So you guys get it, right? So what he was saying is very, very keen, very, very prudent. You understand that point, that you can't just crash diet. You can't just do something rash to your body and expect that you're going to see the results and be able to sustain these results for a long time. It doesn't work that way. Right, so very good.
What they can do, they can have programs, they can have friends, like you create, like what I did, I created a group chat up to lately. And I found some friends who are in the same thing, that they need assistance, those who want to do bodybuilding, women who going through separations and they need this here to build back the self-esteem. I even have a really big overweight friend. He was about 500 pounds when he started. And he's currently at 380 pounds, maybe a little bit less. And every morning he comes by me at 4 o'clock in the morning, and I make it my duty to get up, especially when he wants to train. And we train together because this is my friend. This is like a brother to me. And it's my duty that if I know that this is what I know, it is my duty to help him. And I'm going to make it my duty.
I feel you. And that's another point you always stress in the show. The importance of creating. First of all, again, it's all about making yourself a priority first, and then you kind of want that to fan out into your space. It's easier when you have a support group or support system. Like, for example, we talked about this in the show. We talked about you deciding to have a plan, and then your spouse is not necessarily on board. Good thing it just starts still. But if you can get your spouse or people in your home on board and try to create a support system, it works better. And if everybody, more people are encouraging you, and watching you, and part of the process, it makes it a lot easier and more agreeable.
Yeah, you need a spouse to help you because, sometimes, you have, let me say, you take parenting, for example, you put parenting first, where you wake up in the morning, you got to take care of your kids.
Right.
You got your work, you got your job to do.
Right.
When you get home now, you need that partner to help you.
Right.
Not for you guys just to get comfortable and go sit down and watch TV. You guys can walk together, cook the same foods together, you reduce your certain food, and you have a partner there, it's not just there for looks. It's not just there for everything.
Exactly. And you build each other, right? Because, adults,
I suppose that's what they call a support system.
Yeah,
that's
definitely,
your support system.
Definitely. And you see, you have adults, and this happens a lot. We see this all the time. Because you and I have been in the gym for a while. You see couples who come to the gym and they work out together, and it kind of helps.
Oh yes.
Some
of the best fitness people in Guyana are the couples.
Right, like we have the Rosanna phone.
Perfect example.
Yeah, they're good. They work well together because they're keeping each other on their toes. Right, and again, to Sion's point, you make a lot of. I gotta give you on the show, right? To make a lot of valid points that we've been hitting home here all the time. It's important that you do these things as a team because it helps to create and strengthen that bond. Like you said, instead of you go sit with your spouse and watch TV, you probably go walk around your neighborhood if your neighborhood is safe, or you go together.
Or even right in your home, there's a lot of
chores.
What I always recommend people is use YouTube. Yeah. I've typed in and I've checked at least the top 20 or top 100 YouTube beginners program, and they're all really good. Right. I've never found a problem with any single one of these beginners program.
Okay.
And they can use it right at home, get a half an hour program, and they follow it right there just as a start.
We do that. So, Fun, Fit, and Healthy is not just us talking. We do also have the Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. We have that show that you can actually utilize the skilled workouts and use that. And like Sion rightfully said, this YouTube. There's a plethora of media out there that can help to facilitate your fitness pursuits. But it works better when you have a good support system. So support systems are encouraged. Support systems are valuable part of the health and fitness regimen. But it starts with you as the individual first, and then you compound on that and create an environment that suits what you're trying to achieve. Like Sion has done with his group chat, and what they continue to do by making it accessible to those who want to do the same things. So I'm pretty sure you guys won't lock people out if they're exhibiting the shrewdness and the stick-to-itiveness to get things done.
Especially if you find someone is going through something mentally, where we know that will happen sometime. And we're going to try to keep supporting them, try to keep pushing them back on the wagon and say, hey, what are you doing today? Man, I feel like. So we'll just leave them. Then the next day we'll hit them up again. And then we'll even show up by their place and said, hey, come, let's go and take a walk at the park. And simple things like, we go in and take a walk at the park, and they themselves start falling back onto the program, and then it continues back again.
Correct.
So you don't fall off too long. You just take a day, give them a day or two, allow them to vent, allow them to, get off whatever problem as it is on their mind, and then we go back.
And that's awesome. So, again, you're introducing a very important aspect that we we don't extol enough about exercise and bodybuilding and health and fitness, and that's the mental health component of it. You know, I think everybody that has experienced any kind of difficulty in their lives.
Let me add how some people can help to eat better, right? Now, you don't get caught up thinking you need to eat all these fancy things sometimes you see on TV, asparagus, cauliflower, broccoli. We have things right here in Guyana like pumpkin and callaloo and balanji. These things are really nutritious.
Right.
What you can do also, as to help cut costs, you don't need to buy vegetables that are not in season.
Right.
You know, you don't need to go and import or go to a fancy restaurant, supermarket
to get
looking for one thing specifically to buy.
Correct.
You go in the market,
Correct.
you see what vegetable and fruits are in season, and you buy it.
Correct.
You know,
And
you
use
get
that.
you can get a whole 2 big bag of greens
Right.
for $2,000. That can last you well over almost a whole entire week.
Right.
And then there's no complaint. What are you gonna complain and say?
Right. There you go. There you go. So again, Sion is hitting home everything on the show today. He's really, really giving you really, really good insights as to how to achieve these goals. You understand? And he's basically just giving you the business, giving you the tools right here. You understand? So that's and again, what he's saying here is definitely in keeping with what we've been sharing with you all along too, is that it doesn't have to be this big elaborate thing. It doesn't. You understand? You do things that are manageable, you do things that are within your bracket, and you will see results as you go along. Right?
Yeah, certain things you can, additionally gain. If you have a habit and you like, let me say you really like Cokes, right? I find a lot of people are addicted to that sweet.
It's caffeine.
What you can do as a start, switch from the sugar-based Coke into like a Diet Coke, and then you start diluting the Diet Coke.
Weaning yourself off.
Yeah, you start, or even just using a little bit, mixing it, half water, half Diet Coke, and then eventually, over a time of a few weeks, you yourself stop. Yeah, but just don't try to do it overnight. Just don't pick up
nothing rash.
Yeah, just don't wake up one day, the very next day, and said, "Hey, look, you're moving from drinking 2 bottles of big Coke into going to drinking absolutely nothing." And then 3 weeks pass, you crash. Do it little by little by little,
right.
And you get there.
And that's sustainable.
Yeah.
And like I said, you've been hitting home a lot of the valid points as in regards to how to go about doing this. You started the conversation by talking about what got you into health and fitness. You talked about what some of the difficulties you experienced and what you did to combat that. So I want to bring it home now to the big thing I always talk about on the show, the adult time, right? Tell the people, Mr. Massimo. Tell the people want to know. The viewers want to know. Some of the viewers want to know. What would you say, right? The benefits to this lifestyle on the lovemaking.
Well, let's be real.
Right? I don't turn away now. You talk.
All right.
You talk to people. You tell them your story.
Well,
not too graphic.
Not too graphic. But I'll show a comparison.
All right, good.
Well, right, so I can tell you when I tell people about fat men. I can tell you because I was.
We don't use the term fat man. We use under muscle. You're not fat.
Big
under muscled.
Under muscled.
Under muscled man.
Big boned. I don't know whatever the terminology. I mean, I was there, right? I got nothing against it. I was there, so I understand I was there. But when I was there, my love life was a bit low. I remember this incident in particular because this is a life-changing moment here, right? That I forgot about this incident. I was making love to my ex, and it was a while because I got so big I stopped coming on top. And then she came on top today, and I was like, hey, you know what? I miss coming on top. I remember this particular incident. And I came on top, and I started moving. I was like, yes, Ian, this is you. And I start wailing away. And Coel, when I said wailing away,
your heart give out.
In like 40 seconds, I hold my heart. I stop right. I was like, yo, stop.
Oh, shucks.
And I hold in my heart, and she was like, what happened? I said, something wrong.
I'm definitely wrong.
And I feel like I get in a heart attack. There I was, like, holding my heart, and she was like, you sure? I was like, yes. And I had to lie down, and I had to hold my heart.
Yeah.
And that was the day I realized.
Defining moment.
Yes, and then
Yeah.
that was the very next day I start exercising. Now, for the difference now to show you fit and unfit, when as you keep exercising, you develop the anaerobic state.
Right.
So as your momentum dropping, you could find yourself picking up back with a drive just like that during bed.
Right.
So you could even be feeling tired, where you got like 15-20 minutes of non-stop pace working, and you just take a few seconds rest, and then you go again.
ATP gone up.
Yeah, you gone right away.
Yeah.
And sometimes like with me, if I end up pre-coming a little bit, too quick, sometimes the girl got a little extra tightness, a little extra,
They're motivated.
Yeah, it's a little hard for control sometimes.
Yeah, you
and it
got
happens.
You can't pop down.
I'll go in the bathroom, take just a minute, get the shower going, and say, hey, Sian, you can do this. You got the stamina and the drive to do this. Don't let this back you down.
You gone.
And I'll go right again. Take about, I take about 2 or 3 minutes.
Got it yourself.
Get myself up and say, Sian, let's go.
Well, there you have it. So, for those of you who want to improve your love making, you give a good anecdotal reference there. You can compare the two, from the heart, when the cow the moving, couldn't handle it.
I'm sorry I tell you, I should have fight.
I'm glad too, right? I'm sorry, I'm glad. Right? So the cow was moving, but it wasn't moving too good. And then he changed his life, he got back in the gym, got back fit, got back healthy, and started doing this thing, and then the performance increased.
Yeah, and it improved to such a level where I wanted to make love like once a week. Now I can make love every day. It feels natural.
There you go.
If I do it today in the morning, by tomorrow afternoon, I would not mind going again.
Correct.
It becomes natural. I'm not forcing it. I just naturally want it.
Your body. Last week we talked about testosterone and the importance of testosterone. When you work out, your testosterone levels go up. It improves your libido.
Especially when you work legs. I find that a lot.
Definitely. When you work your legs, you produce more testosterone. So fellas, pay attention to that. Working your legs. Never neglect your legs. You can't see our legs. Both Tiana and I, we work our legs. So we got decent.
Oh, I posted my legs a few times to show people. And,
Of course you did. But again, all of this ties in. That elevated testosterone levels is producing in your body from the exercise helps to improve mood, helps to improve libido, helps to improve performance. You understand? If you don't have those deficits in your love-making ability. And I always say all the time, the good thing we get to do as adults is we get to have sex. So if you doing all the work, you're not enjoying the benefits.
Recommendation too, I would recommend things like watermelon.
Watermelon?
Yeah, I actually find the time sometimes when I use a lot of watermelon.
It helps.
It helps a lot.
Yeah, watermelon, pomegranate, all these foods. Guy is Massimo, guys. So again, you get some good business, you get some good advice as to how to go about sticking to your plan, how to go about understanding where you are and what is necessary to facilitate the best results in your fitness regimen. You can start from a place of cow, and then you can move to a place where you look like Sion, and you have that kind of confidence and that alpha quality. And again, this is also true for women too. Women feel better when they look better. So all these things, So there's a lot of benefits. So to bring it back home, because we're wrapping now, to bring it back home to the points that Sion highlighted. First, start your plan, check your system, start. If you get derailed, find the motivation and turn a negative into a positive. Create strong support systems around you. Right? Make sure that your diet is not a crash diet. You have a planned and structured approach. Right? I'm correct in what I'm saying. Right? So, a planned and structured
small thing
approach.
just to add quick. Like sometimes I would find if I'm having a down moment, I would play one of these motivational video speeches on my phone, and just type in YouTube, motivational speech. And it'll give me a quick instant boost for 5 minutes, and I'll actually phase out of that immediately.
Right. So you got to be doing things, actively doing things to keep yourself engaged in the process. Yeah. So that's excellent. That's excellent, guys. So again, you get it. Improve love making, improve overall well-being. Everything functions better when you have a healthier lifestyle. That's the point. The general point we want to emphasize on
Yeah,
the show.
I mean, my son, one time he was getting really big in size, and because we were like, watching Netflix, everything is Netflix, iPad, and since I started getting active, I started getting my son to play a little basketball and stuff, and my son right now lost 20 pounds in the space of just like 1 month.
Right.
He's playing football, basketball, and I'm doing these things with him.
He's more energetic. And everything. So we say again, you see how this what Sion is doing is kind of contagious, because and make a point, because we'll be having another show later on. We're talking about different kind of men's issues, but to that very very point you just made there about fathers and sons. Again, I want to segue a bit before we close, but it is important that sons and daughters see their fathers doing. Right? We have a huge deficit in fathers who actually participate in their children's lives. So, to Sion's point, it's important that your children get to see you do things and get active. Because if you weren't the man you were, and your son was in an environment where he wasn't exposed, right?
Definitely.
He might less likely be inclined to play basketball or go get active because he's seeing you do it.
Yeah.
So you're actually assisting him in and you're actually nurturing his interest in getting involved in health affairs, and he will do so for his son, and you're creating that kind of
even in
respect.
school, everybody know from what his friends, like when you would just talk about one or two friends, now he has a lot of friends.
Right.
His entire circle has expanded in
better.
school. Everybody's playing with him. Everybody's contacting him. When he walk in school now,
Confident.
he's walk. He even pick up a new walk. He used to walk and slouch. He's
There
walk.
you go.
I'll put up his shoulders and walk in school.
So, to bring it home, it's it's important that when you look at that, it's important that you get to see the real benefit of these things. It's not just fairy tales we were spreading here, or lies we're spreading, or falsehoods on the show. We're actually telling you things here that you can actually take and utilize in your own personal life, and you can see similar dividends in your own life. So, again, we thank you guys for tuning in. We thank you guys for being a part of the discussion. We thank Sion. We're definitely going to have him back on the show for sure, to keep you guys entertained a bit more, because he has a wealth of knowledge, a lot of experience. He can come and share and just participate in the dialogue. And we want to have him back. We want to have people like Sion. We can bring other people on, and we get that conversation, keep that conversation going, because this is an important one, and because we want to build a nation that is fun, fit, and healthy. Right, so thank you guys for tuning in. As always, I'm your host, Coel. Thank you, Sion, again for being on board.
I really appreciate being here.
We're going to definitely have more fun, fit, and healthy conversations on the show. So stay tuned, and thanks again for joining us wherever you are. And stay positive, guys, and take care.